Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe, if you dare. This time last year I was unable to drive or ride a bicycle, and both were a deep source of shame. Hey everybody, welcome to ANECDOSED. People ask Reddit. Grown-ups of Reddit, what is the most embarrassing thing that you should be able to do, but can't? Number 1. Commenter. I can't quickly translate the months and their numbers, Jan equals 1, February equals 2, etc. I've still got to say the months aloud and count on my fingers. Person B. I made a hand-forged 6 feet tall lantern holder for my in-laws' anniversary present. I imprinted their anniversary date with the wrong number, 25th of October came out as 25.8. I haven't told them, and I'm hoping their eyesight is bad enough to just take my word at it being the right date, haha. Person C. In the store I was trying to figure out which milk was going bad last, and some used months spelled out and others used numbers. I started counting quickly but started with May as 1, so I started over again, a lot slower, and counting on my fingers. Once I finished counting I realized one milk was going bad almost a full month after the other, so I was like yes. And got a huge smile on my face. Then I looked over and this guy was looking at me like oh, and I froze, and snatched my milk and mumbled something and ran as fast as I could. Number 2. Commenter. I cannot for the life of me drink and walk at the same time. Water just ends up everywhere and strangers stare. It's pretty embarrassing. Person B. I feel like I'm getting worse at things as I get older. Like, I think I used to be able to do this, but not anymore. I don't even have to be walking. Lately, I seem to keep misjudging how full my glass/cup is and just end up pouring my drink on myself. Person C. Like my girlfriend, if she drinks/eats and walks she chokes all the time. She has to fully stop before taking a sip or a bite. Number 3. Commenter. Save money. Still live paycheck to paycheck, and occasionally still overdraw. Because of this I have always been too scared to have a credit card. Person B. You are not alone. I'm 35, family man, IT manager role and getting married in a few weeks. 2 days before payday and it's squeaky bum time money-wise. Person C. I have had the same problem for a lot of years. I recently found a solution. You need to buy a calendar and plan your budget on the calendar. When you get paid, when bills are due, etc., pay the bills on time and stick to the budget. I find it's a lot easier to be too low on cash when I know before I get my check how much extra cash I have for that week. It makes me be more frugal with my expendable funds than I would be otherwise. Number 4. Commenter. Have a period without ruining my underwear. I've been having periods for over 20 years now and still can't get that shit straight. Person B. We all have had that problem. Most women have a stash of period panties, those are the ones that are already ruined. Wear only these on your cycle days. I mean, you wash them so there is no reason why you can't wear them over and over. Person C. I made the mistake of wearing period panties on a day I didn't feel like doing laundry. My boyfriend and I went to have sex and he was like, is that a poop stain? I was slightly embarrassed to say I was wearing my period panties, but he didn't understand what this was and now thinks I poop my pants every once in a while. Number 5. Commenter. Pooping when I'm not at home. I don't mind when there's a public bathroom with multiple stalls. However, when it's a bathroom with one seat, like in a hotel room, it's a different story. I get very uncomfortable when there are others potentially waiting outside. I like to take my time, be comfortable and be private. Having others that may or may not be waiting when I'm the one sitting on the only bathroom seat makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Person B. I used to be exactly the same until I downloaded the best app of my life. It's called Places I've Pooped, and you basically drop a pin on places you've dumped. It's really helped me broaden my horizons with where I poo. Number 6. Commenter. I am useless at any kind of repair or home improvement, it makes me feel like less of a man. Person B. Next time something breaks, look it over well and find out what's wrong. Next step, Google. It may be simple. My freezer was leaking water into my fridge. The wife was pissed. So yesterday I took a look at it. At first I suspected the water line was going to the ice maker. The line runs up the back of the fridge, not inside. Did some searching, and found the drain hole in the freezer was frozen solid. I melted the ice with hot water and cleared it. No water in the fridge today. I'd never worked on a refrigerator in my life. Yet I figured it out. You can too. Try it next time something breaks. Number 7. Commenter. I don't have my times tables memorized. We started them in 5th grade and once we hit 6th, calculators were everywhere. Person B. I remember in 5th grade thinking that this was a stupid thing to be focusing on. We had one of the special ed teachers take kids one at a time out to the hall to sight read multiplication tables. You had to complete each set one at a time until you could recite them all easily. Several students had trouble with this. Person C. You think times tables are bad? I still use my fingers to do simple addition and subtraction if I don't have a calculator around. I have some more common values memorized, but damn, I learned multiplication and division by simple factors in kindergarten and I still can't get this down. I was also a cashier until I was 23 and I still got change improperly figured when the cash registers go down. Trig? Sure. No problem. Complex string theory? I have a grasp. Addition without a calculator or pen and paper? Nope. Number 8. This time last year I was unable to drive or ride a bicycle and both were a deep source of shame. Eventually I determined that it was time to be an adult. Unsurprisingly I had to pay someone to teach me to drive, but I also decided to pay for a lesson on how to ride the bike. It was a really good decision. My dad's technique when I was very young had been to wait a really long time to get me a bike. I think I was 9 or 10. It was handed down from an older sibling, in fact. So by the time we got round to it I was embarrassed to be seen learning. Then, when I was on the bike, he would let go when I wasn't expecting it. For some reason I made no progress and didn't enjoy it. This impacted my confidence and willingness to learn. 15 years later, and with the correct explanation, it took me around 10 minutes to be pedaling by myself. It turns out I was a natural all along, but I missed my chance of velodrome glory. I make do with pedaling to and from work. Also, how to get it all out when I pee. What the FF? Why is that impossible? Why must there always be the latent trickle? Number 9. Commenter. Basic arithmetic. Really embarrassing at work when I panic and struggle to add up two small numbers. Person B. I've had this issue a lot, but one way I've gotten around it is to see which simple problems stick and work backwards from them. Say I don't know what 8 plus 9 is from the top of my head. I can quickly remember, however, that 9 plus 9 equals 18, and realize that 8 plus 9 must be 1 less, therefore, it's 17. Person C. I do this same thing, and everyone thinks I'm crazy. I'll also say minus 10 minus 2 to myself when converting from military time, and I can get it within a second, but everyone always says why don't you just subtract 12? Because my brain doesn't work that way. Number 10. Commenter. Using urinals is really difficult for me. Especially if there are people in the vicinity. It's stupid. Person B. I'm a girl, and I tend to get pee shy when I pee at friends' houses/apartments, so I just kind of sit there until I can get over it and pee. The longer it takes the more anxiety I get, because then I feel like it seems like I'm pooping, which is more awkward. It's a really random thing that just makes me cripplingly nervous. Person C. Shy bladder. Happens all the time. Trick is to convince yourself that you're better than the people around you, and that they will be intimidated by your ability to pee freely and proudly. You'll be a fire hose in no time. Number 11. Commenter. Whistle. Person B. I can whistle a tune fairly well, but I've never been able to master that whistle where you put your index finger and thumb together and blast out 130 dB. My dad used to always call us home for dinner with that whistle, but I've never been able to do it. Person C. I had the same problem, until one day I stood atop a grassy knoll, put those fingers together, and blew until I had an actual layer of saliva coating my entire chin and neck. So I kept on blowing, 15, 20 minutes, until I heard that first faint, crisp whistle. Boy oh boy, I was so excited I think I hopped a little. After that it was cake, like turning on a light switch. Now I blow out people's eardrums at every appropriate occasion. Number 12. Commenter. Grow a beard. It grows fine on my neck, but I got nothing on my face. Over 30, so it ain't comin'. Person B. For me it's right below the eyes and a mustache, it doesn't grow anywhere else on my face. To this day I've never seen anyone that needed to shave right below the eyes because of facial hair. It's not much for now, but I'm still 19, in a few years, I'll have lots of facial hair below my eyes. Person C. I have a giant natural bald spot on my chin. Doesn't even have those fine hairs on it, the skin is weird. If I grow any facial hair, I look like an idiot. I would grow a mustache, but I am not attractive enough. I'd look like Mario. Number 13. Commenter. Do all those things that seem so important and necessary in my head as I am just about to fall asleep. Tomorrow. Tomorrow I will do this, and I have to do that. Won't happen. Person B. Are we supposed to think about that stuff? I still tell myself stories, think about stuff I'd wish for if I had a genie, what I'd do with lottery winnings or which superpower I'd want and what I'd do with it. I'm 32 and have 2 kids. Person C. Get the any.do-to-do list app. I've never felt so organized in my life. I used to write to-do lists on paper, and I would always lose them, but I always have my phone on me, so my to-do list is always with me. It allows you to separate them in any type of category you want. I have personal, work, family, grocery, etc. You can also set reminders to do these things, and another cool feature is that when you miss a call, it prompts you to call back, send a message, call back later, and when you click call back later, it gives you an hour, 5 hours tomorrow. I don't know about you guys, but I always forget to call people back later. Number 14. Commenter. Know the order of the alphabet without having to sing the ABC song. Person B. I don't have to sing the actual song, but I do have to run through it sometimes to remember if a certain letter comes before or after another letter, usually in the second half of the ABCs. Hopefully a cop never asked me to recite the alphabet backwards, as even sober that would be an impossible task for me. Person C. Years ago, I heard about this supposed test, so I decided whether or not it was true, I was going to learn how to fluently say the alphabet backwards. One night, as I was the last one leaving the bar where I worked, I got pulled over, and was subjected to my first ever set of field sobriety tests. I was not the least bit drunk, or even buzzed, and I was passing everything this guy could throw at me with flying colors. Then, lo and behold, he actually asked me to recite the alphabet backwards. Knowing I was in the clear, I politely asked him, "Are you serious? Can anyone do that, sober or no?" His response was that they don't expect you to do it perfectly, they just want to see if you can kind of get the order of the letters right. So calmly, I looked that officer right in the eye and recited it. ZYXWVUT and so on until A. He stared at me, and by stared I mean he glared at me with the intensity of 1,000 suns, for a FRW moments. Then he wordlessly handed back my license and insurance papers, and left without a peep. Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.